Mixture of rotten and rotten. Like an over enunciation and an under enunciation.
Hey there, I am Ophelia Mullins with the Big O Afterglow. Joining me right now, Rachel Rotten of the one and only Angel City. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
You smell terrible. You've just finished skating against arch rival.
Yes, and I'm not sorry that I smell bad.
No, you're not. You guys are number 5.
Yes.
Arch rival is number 9, and you just beat them by a cool 100 points.
Yeah,
I didn't get to see the whole thing, but I heard you had some super cool last minute force outs, and you were like a total defensive shark. So that's cool. How'd that game go? What's your perspective of arch rival right now?
It was a really fun game. Arch is a really strong team. They hit really, really hard. They're very physical. I love playing physical teams. So it was actually a really fun game for us because we're also a very physical team. So I enjoyed myself out there, and I think my team did as well.
Awesome.
And we got to go out there and really put some brute force onto the track, which was fun.
And you guys haven't played since 2014, so it was hard for me to find a triangulation, and there's been so much movement. I know you were there for that.
Yeah, we played them was in Salt Lake City, and I think even then, I think both teams were very different at that time. So we were really interested to see what they felt like compared to how they felt back then, since we only had footage from last year's champs to go off of.
Right. I want to say congratulations on a really amazing ESPN W article that came out about you yesterday.
Thank you.
And just before we wrap up and go into the next game, coming up, you get to play Victorian roller derby.
Yeah.
You had a narrow 3-point loss to them at playoffs, and you're going to have an opportunity tomorrow. Expectations, feelings, nerves?
I actually don't feel nervous. I am really excited for the game. I think it's a great game. We've actually had a really long history with them. They were we were one of the first teams they played the first time they came to the U.S. in 2012 at Dust Devil, and we've played them all but one season since. And I'm really looking forward to rematching against them after our narrow 3-point loss at playoffs. So I think we're thrilled.
Awesome. One last question. What's your favorite pizza topping?
Jalapenos.
Perfect. That's all the time we have. I want to talk to you forever, but thank you so much, Rachel Rotten, for being here. I'm Ophelia Mullins with the Afterglow, and now we're going to hit it. Denver versus Texas.
Hello, Internet, and welcome back to the 2017 Big O in Eugene, Oregon. My name is Justice Marshall here with
the King.
We're getting ready to see number 4 Texas taking on number 7 Denver in what is certain to be an exciting finish. As we mentioned in the last game, the streaming debut of Skull Eagle as a Denver player. He has played one game so far for them on the road against Gotham. Denver losing that game solidly and now trying to bounce back. Also, Denver adding Dylan Swanson to their lineup this season. Both of them, of course, previously from the two-time champion Rose City Rollers. Actually,
Switch on real mic.
what do you think, King?
Well, hey there, folks. We're all back at the Big O right here. We had a really nice intro, and I just want to let you all know we've got number 4 Texas Rollergirls taking on number 7 Denver Roller Derby. I'm the King, and I'm right here with
Justice Feel Good Marshall. Hi, King.
Hey there.
You mentioned earlier, this is the streaming debut for many of you. The first time we're going to see Scald Eagle, previously of the 2-time world champion Rose City Rollers, in Denver colors. Right now, this first jam looks like it's Stacy Wilhelm up against Smarty Pants for Texas.
Yeah, Smarty Pants is locked down right there at the back of the pack. Barely made it past the jammer line. Wilhelm, on the other hand, is in corner number 1 on the inside line, working her way to the outside. Does get kicked out. Ooh, yeah, a very nice move to get a cut drawn on her, and she's going to spend some time in the penalty box.
Yeah, that was an instant run back right there. Wilhelm, a very, very smart canny jammer, but fell for that run back. And there it is, Smarty Pants, lead jammer, Texas.
Well, the offense came from the outside, and it was a nice, easy way to get their jammer free. Initial pass has been done, and we are on a scoring pass, but a back block now has been picked up, and it's going to be a change of the guard. Wilhelm is standing in the penalty box and will be released right now.
Yeah, Texas filling their box in the first 30 seconds of this game. Wilhelm out on her initial pass right now, looking for points on this comeback.
Texas numbers heavily depleted. Braun Swanson up front trying to take on Jackie Daniels. They got them all discombobulated and made it really easy for Wilhelm.
Like Tracy Akers is going to separate the Texas defense right there. Number 27, Peace War, runs into her own block on the way back, making an easy pass for Wilhelm.
Wilhelm made it out of that pack, picked up 5 points. 4 points, though, picked up, and that was for Smarty Pants. Both jammers take that inside line. They're following each other, and another 4 points for each.
About 25 seconds left in this jam with both jammers once again in scoring position. Here they come.
This time they both try to take the outside line. Wilhelm gets kicked out in turn number 3. She is drawn back, and we'll have to start her again. Up front at the top of the apex, 4 points were picked up by Smarty Pants.
Right now the pack is dramatically slowed down here in turn 3. Smarty Pants over the apex, but hits the ground, did get the points. So after a jam that looked like it was going to be all Texas in the beginning, Denver does, I apologize, in the final score, 17-16, a really big one to set us off there. Texas only able to squeak out one after getting a power jam early, but then losing it on the Smarty Pants penalty.
And Nikki Tiki Time Bomb out there on the line, going against Scald Eagle. Scald Eagle out first quickly, and she's your lead jammer.
Now, one of the things I'm looking forward to seeing in this game is Denver has two very, very different jammers in Wilhelm and Scald Eagle. You see right there, Scald Eagle always using that power and strength to push through. Wilhelm often going to stick to the juking style. However, this time, Texas is able to mostly avoid danger from Scald Eagle. They lose that one 3-0, and they lose the lead, but Wilhelm was able to put up a whole lot more on that long one in the past. Looking forward to seeing who they put out here for their third run, does Denver.
Freight Train and Klein will be your jammers of note. Freight Train from Texas, Klein from Denver. Even pack, 4-on-4 out there in the blocking war. And this jam is on. Freight Train hits the back of that Denver wall, gets pushed to the inside, and didn't go anywhere real fast. Klein trying to work their way past the pivot line. One player left to beat, ekes around CC Bomb, and she's your lead jammer.
Not much space for Freight Train right here, going laterally back and forth, but stuck in between that jammer and pivot line for most of that start. Still stuck at the pivot line, as now Klein has returned for a first scoring pass.
Klein up against that wall, really trying to press it. Here comes a little bit of offense, and it breaks it up just a little bit. The inside line opens, a hop, skip, and a jump, and Klein is free as your 5 points scored.
Akers recycling Freight Train to the back, who removes the star, but once again gets wrapped up. That's by number 37, Garton, with that block.
Well, Klein had an open lane for just about a minute, and her offensive player went down in front. Tried to break her through, but unfortunately was not able to get her anywhere. Freight Train stuck behind a wall that's going almost nowhere very fast, and a back block is called. Klein is now headed to the penalty box on that back block call.
Second jam penalty and 3 jams for Denver, and now Texas with a chance to get Jackie Daniels into scoring position, the pivot turn jammer for Texas.
That's right. She passed that star over, and Jackie Daniels, who was no stranger to doing a little bit of jamming, has got that star. Braun Swanson tried to take her on that outside. Jackie Daniels is brushing players off left and right, fighting through turn number 2. And just like that, she's on the deck. Braun Swanson jumped in there, and that was like a last-ditch effort to hold her together. Now that wall is set, and as you know, Denver has some mean defensive walls when they get set.
It looks like Texas may have taken a little bit too much time there to decide whether they're playing passive or aggressive. They almost lost the track on Klein out of the box. They do fall back, though. Jackie is out and has a grand slam.
Klein out in turn number 3. She barely gets out and finally is free, picking up another 5 points.
That was a scary fall for Jackie. It looks like she's all right, though.
Jackie Daniels looks like she was breathing pretty heavy. Does come back in. No points scored on that second pass.
So Denver does win that one 10-5, remaining in the lead in what's immediately a very close game.
Slight pack advantage out there. Texas has got one player sitting in the penalty box, all 4 out there for Denver. Denver, of course, on top, 29-22. Both jammers take off. Bodies are hitting the floor and around. Oh, a huge hit. That is Polygon. But Guypen has no problems brushing it off. She is now your lead jammer.
And a little 22-on-22 action there as Polygon really took out Guypen, but popped right back up, and Guypen over the apex for 5.
Wow, there was so much to say there. She did that nice little jump and made it. Looks like we've got Trauma with the cap. Trauma's trying to make some ground up, but Guypen is right back in there. She hears, Polygon did do a little jump, and no points scored for her, but 2 points were picked up by Guypen.
I think that was Trauma with Pivot Star who had taken that one. So looks like Denver, as you said, barely getting that jam called off in time. Now 36-22. Remember, Texas ranked 4th and Denver ranked 7th, but Denver just suffered a pretty significant loss to Gotham on the road in New York. So right now, Denver outperforming both their recent history and their rankings in this solid game over Texas right now.
Texas Times calls a timeout on the floor, and so they're going to take a quick break and talk about it. Texas, of course, down by a good 14 points. It's a good opportunity for them to regroup because against this strong Denver team and all those strong jammers they got, they don't want to get too much of a deficit.
Yeah, this is a very early timeout, only 7 minutes into the game. To me, I think that probably reflects confidence, or Texas' confidence, that this game will not be close later. Right now, they're trying to figure out what they can do off the line, most likely. If they're seeing something that they can switch immediately to change this outcome, they're probably talking about that, but I doubt they think that this game's going to stay close if they were willing to call it that early.
In this next jam, you're going to see Freight Train taking the line with a star on her helmet for Texas, and I do believe Wilhelm is out there also with a star for Denver. There is a couple of blockers for Denver right now currently sitting in the penalty box. It's a good opportunity to play some spot-on offense and get your jammer free to give yourself a better chance of getting more points up there. Wilhelm bounces around on that inside line, and she continues to try and fight through that pack. Freight Train with those 2 blockers having a hard time through turn number 1, and she gets kicked out of bounds by Braun Swanson in the top of the apex. Wilhelm right now at the pivot line trying to work it, but all 4 of those blockers have her locked down. Jackie Daniels is not letting her go anywhere, but Wilhelm managed to wiggle by her and hit the next blocker. Akers comes back up in there, tries to peel some blockers off, and Wilhelm is going nowhere at turn number 1. Yep. And Freight Train right here in front of us has got those blockers barely moving anywhere. Braun Swanson, of course, being the brace, and a star cap pass. That is going to go to Olivia Shootin'-John. Olivia Shootin'-John gets instantly picked up by Denver and is stuck in that pack.
Now it's like Wilhelm stuck behind Freight Train. Jackie Daniels and CeCe Boone with the back here. I think that jam right there, I mean, a lot of focus gets put on Scald Eagle as the big transfer from Rose City, but that one right there showed that Braun Swanson is also a huge, huge element of Denver's new defense between her and Akers and Angel on that one.
Oh, yeah.
Able to hold back an extremely strong jammer in Freight Train.
Oh, yeah, they started that thing with only 2 blockers out there. But when you put a blocker out there like Braun Swanson, who just recently in the championships won an MVP, that's the kind of prestige you get. Scald Eagle and Gravy Baby out there on the line. Scald Eagle gets kicked out of bounds and taken back into turn number 4. Gravy Baby about the middle between the pivot and jammer line and is stuck behind that Denver defense. Scald Eagle doing what she does best, working laterally, trying to get something. Wow, that was a great stop right on the line. Scald Eagle's your lead jammer.
Oh, pile up in turn 1 right there. But like Barrett able to get on Gravy Baby.
And it looks like, I believe, a high block being called on Scald Eagle. So this is now a power jam with Gravy Baby out of the pack. Gravy Baby does come in. She hits that wall. Here comes the offense from Texas, and she squirts out the other side right through that apex.
Texas doing a good job of separating the remaining Denver defense right here. But now off to the box for Texas, number 16, Aja Gar. Jaguar.
And this jam comes to an end. Scald Eagle is standing in the penalty box, and they will start this. Texas will start this jam in a power jam.
Running down our points right now, leading scorer Wilhelm for Denver with 19, trailed by Smarty Pants for Texas with 17. No other jammer in double digits. I'm sorry, except for Klein, who has 10. And another early clock stoppage, some an official review from Denver. So I think they can get something out of this one. We'll have to wait and see what the call is all about. You see Tracy Akers, the Denver captain, following him in, and Jackie Daniels as the Texas captain. All going to talk it over there with our head referee, Duke Skellington.
Well, I'm speculating over here that official review is because they had designated Scald Eagle as lead jammer. And at the end of it, they had awarded Texas lead jammer and allowed them to call it off. Sometimes when you got enough people out there pointing fingers, eventually that kind of thing will get mixed up. But that's my speculation.
Yeah,
I feel is going to be that official review.
We're going to get a little knowledge here from Eric Rock, so we'll hold on and listen to him for a second here. Now, if this official review is about the lead jammer call, I don't know if Denver's actually going to get anything positive out of it, though, because all they can do is say, "Whoops, we shouldn't have done that."
Yep. My bad.
It wouldn't put anybody in the box or out of it. So Duke Skellington with the mic now. I'm gonna give us a little information.
Well, while we're waiting for an answer, it looks like the scene that we're about to see here in this next jam, there's only 2 blockers out there for Texas. 2 of the blockers are, of course, sitting in the penalty box. Scald Eagle is in the penalty box also for Denver. There's 4 blockers out there for Denver. So there's going to be that pack advantage. So those 2 blockers for Texas are going to really have to play some quick, hard-hitting, hit-it-and-quit-it offense to try and get their jammer that instant out and then regroup to quickly catch Scald Eagle, which is never an easy task.
All right. Fairly light on penalties so far. The only people with 2 are AJ Gare and Peace War for Texas, and over on Denver's side, Tracy Akers also sitting on 2.
Nothing. Well, we've got confirmation from one of our referee liaisons, and that is, of course, what it is. Scald Eagle was awarded lead jammer. She was sent to the penalty box, and then Texas called off that jam. I don't think anything's going to change in this game, but it's good to have a nice discussion sometimes with the ref. Share your feelings.
So I don't know if you could hear that on the stream. Our head referee, Duke Skellington, talking about the penalty. The official review. It was, or lead jammer was given incorrectly to Scald Eagle as she had committed a penalty previous to exiting the pack, and therefore Denver will not retain the review, which would be a problem because there's still 20 minutes to play in this half. And at some point they may be upset about something. Who knows? They'll be unable to ask for satisfaction on a review for the remainder of this half.
And just like that, Smarty Pants finds a quick open hole, and that was perfect offense laid down by Texas.
Oh, Scald Eagle taking a wrap of the face right there, gets through.
Smarty Pants works her way back around, found an open hole, ended up on the deck. Does not matter. She jumps to her feet, scores quick 4 points, and calls off that jam.
So Texas' first points in the last 3 jams, I should say. And closing to 39 to 33 with about 19 and a half left to play in the first half when this next jam begins. It really seems that more than 11 minutes of play have happened so far. A lot going on in this high-ranked, high-stakes bout. Both these teams trying to stay in an important top 8 when you talk about the rankings near the end of the season and where you end up in playoffs. Being 8 is so much better than being 9 or below.
Gravy Baby found an opening and capitalized on that. She's your lead jammer, and Klein is in hot pursuit, also getting out of that pack. Gravy Baby worked her way back around. She's trying to get a couple points muscled out, and she does effectively pick up, I believe, 3 before she calls it off, holding Denver scoreless.
She's wearing no 3.
Well, then it would be Olivia Shooten-John that would have pulled that off.
So I got a little number confusion here as we have 2 different players here on our board with very similar numbers. OSJ, I think, on the last one there.
That's right. Nikki Tiki Time Bomb is your jammer for Texas. She got caught in that straightaway and guided back. Lots of bodies hitting the floor, a lot of hustle and bustle in there. Braun Swanson, a swing and a miss. And that's Nikki Tiki Time Bomb out as your lead jammer.
Guypen able to go on the outside, but plenty of time here for Nikki Tiki Time Bomb to make something out of this one.
Oh, yeah, Nikki Tiki Time Bomb got in. I'm pretty sure she picked up all 4 of those points. She did get hit at the very end and she got 3, but she got hit at the end, and that might be why she didn't get that last point.
Well, she's trying to make it more exciting because it's now 39 to 39, a tie game right now.
Well, then that was a very good timeout they took. That was sometimes you question, God, you really want to take a timeout already? But, yeah, that was a perfect regroup opportunity for them to air it out, say, okay, we've had our couple jams. Everybody's excited. Let's calm down and play the game we came to play.
Once again, we see this formation with a triangle for Texas and 1 playing offense. It's the pivot for Texas, and it works out. Freight Train, lead jammer.
Yep. That was a great move. Wilhelm also got kicked out on the inside line. She's finally back on the track, but Freight Train quickly made it all the way back around, and she's now banging that wall up at the pivot line. Finally gets through. Barrett, it was the last line of defense. And a forearm is being called on Freight Train.
So power jam advantage going to Wilhelm. Very slippery jammer. Nice clearing block right there by Angel, but Texas too quick and gets back on Wilhelm before she can break. Here comes the Denver offense.
Wilhelm still stuck in that pack. She got kicked out as a bound on the inside line, but that was a real heads-up play. Trauma jumped back and did pull that cut on Wilhelm.
And I couldn't ask for anything more from how this game has gone so far. Tie game right now with both teams playing their best defense right now, I believe.
Freight Train comes in, and man, she hits hard. She hit that wall, and it really jostles everybody. Here comes the offensive play from her teammates. She's got 1 player left to beat. Nice side move, and she picks up her 5.
Wilhelm standing in the penalty box, so she will return right now. So 1 more Texas blocker to the box that is polygon.
Freight Train comes in. She forces her way around that inside line, and I do mean force, picking up those 4 points.
Wilhelm finds an inside line, is through. That's an initial pass. So Freight Train still on a roll with 20 seconds left in this jam.
Freight Train still trying to work her way around. She's probably scored her points and is still trying to muscle her way through. Wilhelm now has made her way all the way around the pack. Nice move to the outside. Holy smokes. The footwork on her. She picks up her 4 points.
Yeah, that was right in front of us, and it was beautiful.
Freight Train now gets locked down, and Wilhelm comes in, glides through, picks up 4 points. Freight Train also picks up her 4 points.
Wilhelm almost looked surprised that nothing bad happened when she entered that fast with that little space. She ended up in front of the pack and she's like, wow, I'm here. Awesome. 4 points for me.
Look where I ended up. How did that happen?
Texas does, though, have the lead now, 52-47.
Scald Eagle on the line for Denver. Smarty Pants on the line for Texas. Scald Eagle tries to push her way through the middle, ends up on the inside line, steps around and out. She's your lead jammer.
Yep, we've all seen it happen before. Scald Eagle saying, nope, I'm going through.
I've never said that phrase before, have I? Scald Eagle working her way back around. She's engaged that pack in turn number 1. She is now fighting every single blocker. A multiplayer block being called on DeBella DeBall. She's now out front. Oh! And she calls it off. It almost looked like she stepped out of bounds. I wasn't sure if she did.
I think she did. They're showing a no pass, no penalty there, so she got a little bit lucky on that one. She did hit the outside, but the person who blocked her was, in fact, also joined her, touching the outside at that point. So avoid the track cut, gets 3. The referee making very sure that we're all aware that was a no pass, no penalty.
Whew. Well, I think everybody's starting to get warmed up now. The game has gotten real exciting. Lots of turns, lots of twists, lots of bouncing around. If you are watching at home, you're welcome. Olivia Shootin' number 3 for Texas out there. She's trying to fight through the outside line. Penalty called on, I believe, Barrett. And Olivia Shootin' is out first as your lead jammer.
Klein with a nice quick pass to Leia.
Oh, Olivia Shootin' comes in sideways, hits him, splits him in half, calls it off, and she looks so graceful when she does it. Almost a little cocky.
The ballerina call off.
I'm through. Na-na-na.
A 4-3 pack favors Texas right here. Again, looks like our leading scorer still Wilhelm with 27 points. Smarty Pants right behind it with 21 for Texas.
Nikki Tiki Time Bomb for Texas out there. Guypen for Denver. Both jammers trying to fight their way through. Nikki Tiki Time Bomb got kicked out on the outside line. She's going to go back to the pivot line and start again. Guypen up front, and she's just trying to wiggle everybody forward. And finally, at the top of the key, she is out as your lead jammer.
Lindsay Guypen, 2 year ago transfer from the other Denver team, Rocky Mountain, used to play as Phantom Menace. Now playing the blue and white, and goes to the box on a back block. Power jam, Texas.
Well, she came in very hot and heavy, and and a cut being called on Nikki Tiki Time Bomb. Yep. So, as you know, in the game of roller derby, it's absolutely no fun with no jammers on the track. One will sit down, and one will be released.
Except that it appears that's not happening. We got both jammers sitting, and now Nikki's. Oh, it must have been Guypen. Must have had a double penalty there.
Oh. So
Nikki Tiki Time Bomb returns to the track early, or earlier than usual, I should say.
Denver doing a great job weathering it. They're trying to hold Braun Swanson as the GOAT in the back, and that's not an easy task. Finally, Braun Swanson rejoins everybody. They're trying to do a cap pass. Nikki Tiki Time Bomb decides to hold on to it. Jackie Daniels comes through and is trying to bust up that pack. She's hit just about everybody, but the reforming is phenomenal, and she gets a penalty out of all that action.
Jackie Daniels and her hair on the way to the penalty box. 4-3 pack favors Denver now. 30 seconds left in this full-length jam.
Well, Nikki Tiki Time Bomb is locked in behind that strong Denver wall. Even with CC Bomb coming in, they just enveloped her too. Guypen is finally out of the pack. She's got the star on her helmet in turn number 3. She's got one player left to beat, and she is now out of the pack, picking up 4 points.
Yeah, that track cut against Nikki Tiki Time Bomb ending up being very, very costly for Texas here as they lost a full minute of power jam time and were unable to really capitalize on the 30 seconds they had remaining.
Well, this jam comes to an end. That was a very hard-fought battle out there.
Yeah, something that's incredible. Like we were just saying, Guypen going to the box for a full minute, Texas scoring 0 points on that same jam.
Yeah, we've seen some pretty lopsided scoring so far in this tournament, very early in this tournament, I should say. But right now it's a 1-point game, and that's the kind of action you expect to see out of these two type of teams. Mm-hmm. Smarty Pants on the line, going up against Scald Eagle. Scald Eagle trying to work that inside, pressing to the end. She found a little bit of an opening, but everything closed up pretty quick. A humongous hit taking the Texas Jammer back, and Scald Eagle is through as your lead jammer.
With Angel, S.H. Long, and Barrett all over Texas's Smarty Pants right there.
Scald Eagle got knocked out of bounds, and they are taking her way back to the jammer line, and she's going to have to start again. Smarty Pants picking up a penalty, so this is a power jam for Scald Eagle.
Scald Eagle coming for another scoring pass. Oh, a beautiful spin around the outside. Denies Polygon. And the crowd liked that one.
Just whipped right off the back of Schlong and pretty much made it look really easy.
Denver has retaken the lead right now, 65-56. Scald Eagle still coming.
Scald Eagle in turn number 3. She's come to almost a dead stop with that Texas defense locking her in. Smarty Pants is back in the pack. She is now trying to fight through. She's whipped off that cap, and it looks like we've got a star pass. So a successful star pass by Smarty Pants, and that gets them out of that pack.
Texas trying to take the front here to avoid Scald Eagle's advance, and they do so. Excellent job there to block her up in the apex to keep it in front, and Scald calls it, does pick up one, but great job by Texas to deny all 4 points on that one by getting up in front of the Denver blockers and not being picked off there. So big run for Scald Eagle there. She now has 22 points in the game, trailing only Wilhelm on points, who has 27.
Olivia Shooten-John will be out on the line in this next jam. Joining her is Wilhelm from Denver. Wilhelm is trying to fight through and gets kicked out on the inside line. Still trying to fight on that inside line and not going anywhere. This pack is very, very slow right now. Olivia Shooten-John is somewhere in that pack, and I can barely see her. She's been enveloped by all those blockers. Wilhelm does a nice little spin and is out as your lead jammer.
And one thing we're talking about, Scald Eagles and Wilhelm's very different styles. It's really hard as a blocker to switch that quickly from somebody. Oh, and Wilhelm just walked into a track cut. I think that was Peace War, pulling that one on her. Wilhelm to the box the second time this game.
I love watching Peace War play. She is one of those dynamic players, very, very quick on her feet and extremely derby smart.
My apologies. Third trip to the box for Wilhelm, so already in a little bit of penalty trouble with still 7.5 or 7:40 left to play in the first half.
Well, Olivia Shooten-John has got herself absolutely trapped on that inside line. Her offense tried to come and help her out, and it almost looks like this is going to be a penalty kill because she can go nowhere at this point and get really any help. Oh, and as I say that, I think she heard me talking because she's up there, and the only person there is Braun Swanson.
She did put a good delay on her, was able to stop her, but was able to pick her back up and cut a few seconds off her lap time.
Olivia Shooten-John works her way back around. She's hugging the back of Braun Swanson. Akers is joining the pack in there, holding her in. Wilhelm has made it out and working her way back around. She's in a scoring position, and my goodness, that was exciting to see. A quick spin, picking up 4 points.
Got to love that one. Made it look easy right there. Now coming around with 18 seconds left in this jam. Wilhelm with an opportunity here.
Olivia Shooten-John has been absolutely locked down in turn number 2. She is inching forward ever so slightly.
Oh, no.
Oh, and there's a penalty.
And that's Wilhelm's fourth.
Oh, that's a forearm call. That's too bad to see. That's going to be a Texas Power Jam coming up, and they definitely need this kind of action. They have slipped a little bit, down by 22 points at this point.
Yeah, so far Texas not being that successful, I should say, on Power Jams. They had that one penalty to Guypen that was a minute long, but only resulted or did not result in any points for Texas. And now this one we saw Wilhelm go to the box twice, but Denver still winning that jam 12-4.
Freight Train on the line, all by herself, jumps to the outside and gets picked up by that 3-wall. And here comes some offense in the way of Stone-Her. Freight Train was out for a second. She's got 2 players left to beat, and they keep recycling up and holding her in. Absolutely incredible defensive maneuvering. Akers, last line of defense. Excuse me, that was not Akers, but it was beautiful.
Well, 20 seconds there for Freight Train to get out, so now we have Wilhelm standing in the box as Freight Train comes around for her first scoring pass, just as Wilhelm is released from the penalty box.
Freight Train comes in, and once again she hits it like a ram. Tries to bust it open, and they somehow manage to weather that kind of intensity. Wilhelm has served her time, and she is now trying to fight through right behind that pack. It ends up coming out on the other side on her initial pass.
And now both jammers on the same scoring pass. Freight Train does not get it called off in time. 1 for Wilhelm, 4 for Freight Train. So another power jam and not working out as well as Texas might have hoped, only getting 3 points of positive differential. Still trailing now 84-64, 20-point lead for the Denver Roller Derby.
Number 5, Smarty Pants will start on the line for Texas. 33, Klein will be out there for Denver with the stars on their helmets. And believe it or not, the penalty box is empty, so there's all 5 players from each team on the track. This jam starts, and they have barely come past the jammer line. Both jammers are trying to rock back and forth through that pack to try and find a hole through. Akers was one of the last lines of defense. Braun has now filled in the gap. Smarty Pants still trying to fight her way through, and a penalty is called. Looks like a forearm. Smarty Pants headed to the penalty box.
Klein through, lead jammer for Denver. And now Texas is split up here with 2 in the front, 2 in the back. Now Jackie to the front to try and meet her team. Like the ball was isolated by Akers in the back here. But Akers
block.
goes to the box on that impact. It's a low block, I believe.
Klein right now trying to work around and gets bumped. Manages to stay on her feet, but did step out of bounds, so she's going to be taken way back to the straightaway and have to start all over again. She is now pressing real hard on that wall. Believe it or not, it's a flat 4 wall. It's kind of like 2007 Derby. Still trying to fight her way through and not going fast, real quick.
Smarty Pants has returned and has escaped now, so through her initial pass. Klein, though, as lead jammer, has control of the end of this jam.
Well, Klein finally finds a way to break through, picks up all 5 of her points, and calls off that jam.
Oh, the underdog Denver here, ranked 7 in WFTDA, up against number 4 Texas, doing an excellent job here, staying in front. It's been really back and forth. The first 10 minutes was Denver. The middle 10 minutes of the half was Texas. And now in this waning moments of the first half, Denver has gotten back in control, currently leading 89-64 with under 3 minutes to play in the first half.
Olivia Shooten-John and Cotton are out on the track with the stars on their helmets for each of their team. Olivia Shooten-John makes a nice little maneuver, and she's your lead jammer. Cotton finds a beautiful little spot on the inside line, and she's finally out of that pack. Olivia Shooten-John comes in, glides sideways, picks up all 4 of her points, and quickly calls off that jam.
Scald Eagle against Freight Train in a battle of people you don't want to run into your back.
I could be wrong, but I think this is the first time we've seen these 2 out there on the line against each other. Freight Train and Scald Eagle.
Two minutes and 1 second to play on the clock when this jam begins.
And Freight Train is out first. Scald Eagle did find a way through. Too many players for Texas are in the penalty box. There's only 2 out there right now.
Oh, Texas reducing just 1 block on the track right now.
And, well, that was a pretty heads up right there. I believe that was Aja Gare that ran forward trying to avoid getting her point taken. And, yeah, they've got a big goose egg up on the screen for them.
Yeah, impressive work by Texas to avoid getting points scored on that. Tracy Akers didn't like the call. Neither did Richie Knott. They're both going to talk about it because they did lose the review earlier in the game or in the half, so they're unable to challenge that one, but they seem to disagree. Now, score update 2 for Texas and 0 for Denver on that one due to the ghost point in the box. That's Barrett standing as the blocker for Denver. A 19-point game with 1 minute and 15 seconds left on the stop clock. We don't have a monitor in front of us, so we can't tell if you can see that information yourself. So if you can read or you can hear us, you'll know what the time is. 1:15 left on the stop clock. The discussion continues. Now, head referee talking something over, I should say, with both benches. This is an official timeout, not an official review for either team. Either way, though, I think Denver has to be pretty happy with how this game is going. In the game we talked about against Gotham last month, they dropped that game of 215 to 98. I think a lot of people expected that game to be a lot closer, given the changes in personnel on both sides and the rankings. But Gotham putting down a classic Gotham performance, I should say, on Denver that time. A lot of people thought that Texas might have advantage going into that based on that score. But right now, Denver not just hanging in there, Denver winning by 19 points as we're back in action right now.
And they're off. Wilhelm, Olivia Shooten-John, those are your two jammers. Wilhelm just does a quick little dance routine on the outside line, and she's your lead jammer, but quickly followed by Olivia Shooten-John.
Everyone on the outside of turn 3 right now. Now they're going to enter and take over the infield or interior of the turn. Wilhelm calls it off. Was it in time? It looks like it was.
Yeah, and she picked up a couple points in the process. That was some nice work out there by Wilhelm to pull that off.
So with 45 seconds left on the clock at the moment, this is likely to be the last jam of the half. We'll have to wait and see. Scald Eagle once again takes the line for Denver, opposed by Freight Train again.
Oh, they liked it so much last time, they decided to do it again. Texas still down, 2 blockers. Scald Eagle goes around the outside. She did cut. Yep. She did put that foot out of bounds. Yeah. I'm not 100% sure one way or the other, but the ref seems to think so, and that's just fine with me.
Yeah, she was looking down at her foot. It appeared that she was looking at her out-of-bounds foot and then kept going. Yeah. Either way, though, it turns out Power Jam Texas.
Freight Train is now locked at the top of the apex there, and it looks like she just passed that cap off to Smarty Pants, who was taken out by Braun Swanson.
But there's no jam ref on number 5 right now. I'm not sure what happened right there.
All right. Well, that means Smarty Pants is back up there. Braun Swanson is meeting. Smarty Pants does a nice little twist around at the top of the apex up there, picks up 5 more points.
Period time has expired. This will be the last jam of the half.
Scald Eagle on that inside line, tiptoes all the way around and gives a nice love tap to the outside. And she's like, no, I want to be in front. It's mine. Scald Eagle takes flight, sticks it like it ain't no big deal, picking up 4 points.
40 seconds left in this jam. Could go either way at this point. Scald Eagle goes over the legs of Freight Train. Picks up another 5.
When she's got momentum and she wants to make some points go on the board, I've seen it too many times. Scald Eagle is vicious.
Trace Akers runs out of space in the front of the pack, holding back Smarty Pants. Scald Eagling her way through the pack once again.
That was like running through French doors. And just like that, Smarty Pants is back up in there. Here comes Jackie Daniels trying to open up a hole on the inside, but they shrug it off and continue to play some spot-on defense. Scald Eagle gets kicked out of bounds at the turn number 2 and is going to be drugged back. She's like, well, I'm just going to hang out here. We're not going to rush this. Let's let this half come to an end, and we'll call it good.
Yeah, I think it was a good call there. P4 ran her back, and this wasn't enough time to pick up the remaining points, so she successfully avoided getting another penalty there. And our score at halftime after a big 16-15 run there, 107 Denver, 86 Texas. Denver trying to get an upset on the number 4 ranked team in the nation.
All right, well, we've got about 10 minutes of this halftime, so everybody grab yourself a nice cold beer and a bag of chips. Get ready for the second half, because if you, have been watching, this has been a spectacular game, and I expect this to continue all the way through the next half.
I'm Justin Billgard Marshall here with the King, back in 9:15. Big O. Right now I've got number 4 Texas taking on number 7 Denver, and Denver's working on an upset here. They currently lead 107 to 86. My name is Justice Billgard Marshall. I'm here with the King. We're going to run down a few stats from you from the first half. There have been 3 lead changes so far in this game. The last one came at 8 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Denver went up 71-56, has not lost the lead since. One issue here, both teams have 19 penalties. However, in penalty trouble for Denver, both Stacey Wilhelm and Tracy Akers, 2 of their key players, they can ill afford to lose either one. Texas does not have anybody with more than 3 penalties. CC Boom and Smarty Pants both sitting on 3. Leading scorers for Texas, Smarty Pants with 37, Freight Train 19, OSJ with 12, Gravy Baby with 10, Jackie Daniels with 5. On the Denver side, it's Stacey Wilhelm with 43, Scald Eagle 37, Klein 15, and Lindsey Guypen 12. It looks like we are about to get back in action here, King.
Wilhelm on the line for Denver. Olivia Shootin' out there for Texas. Olivia Shootin' getting taken down. She's got one player left to beat, though, as she quickly pops up. They're doing a nice job holding her in. Tracy Akers is holding the pack together, but Olivia Shootin' is out as your lead jammer. Oh, and Olivia Shootin' makes her way all the way back around on her scoring pass. Jumps on through and picks up her 5 points. Wilhelm still stuck in that pack and can't seem to get even anywhere where even if she's got the offense coming.
Wilhelm finally out getting past Peace War. Plenty of time here, though, for OSJ to finish off the scoring pass, but finds a whole lot of white in the back and only picks up 2 more points out of that pass.
Well, that was a nice, quick, and efficient start for Texas. Pulled it a little bit closer as we're moving into this second half.
Looking back at our last few stats from the first half. In the first half, lead jammer Texas and Denver totally even at 10 each. Jammer penalties not on Denver's favor. 8 jammer penalties for Denver and 6 for Texas.
Nikki Tiki Time Bomb and Scald Eagle out on as your jammers. Scald Eagle gets launched out of bounds on the inside line. Does take a hop. Lands 1 foot, but no, she's going to get called on that cut. Nikki Tiki Time Bomb is out, and she is your lead jammer and in a power jam.
He was having a bit of a conversation with the referee after exiting the track, but referee did not change his mind, and now it is Nikki Tiki Time Bomb up against the front of the Denver pack. It's through 5 points.
And that was some beautiful toe stop work to eke her way on the inside, around, and out. They've got a goat in the back. Number 4, Leah, has been stuck back there. Nikki Tiki Time Bomb comes up, gets pushed out on the outside line. But Texas does not let them take her back very far. They're now eyeballing where she's going, and they're contemplating playing a little bit of offense.
Yeah, the contemplation took a little longer than I thought it might have that time. We have 1 up there playing offense, but they decided to come back and wait for Scald pretty early, and it doesn't help. Scald Eagle right through with a powerful pass.
She is so quick at doing that. She got through on that initial pass. No points, of course, scored. 4 points were picked up by that last play by Texas.
Yeah, I think one of the stories of this game so far is Texas' inability to capitalize on those power jam opportunities. They won that one 4-0, but they have been really unable to get more than a single pass worth differential in any power jam, I believe, in this game so far.
Freight Train and Klein, they're going to be your next jammers out there. Freight Train takes that inside line, tiptoes all the way through. Tracy Akers tried to come up the outside, tried to stop her, but Freight Train drops her like it ain't no big deal.
Akers now with the star escaping, getting around number 15 there, top Trauma. Now Freight Train finds a way through, gets past the hips of Braun Swanson, and calls it off for another 4. Texas has pulled to within 1 point, 107-106. Denver is yet to get on the board in this half.
That was a real funky move that she came in. She dropped that shoulder twice and finally got the commitment she was looking for from the defense to flinch one way. And as soon as they did, she picked up those points. It kept right on rolling.
So Texas out of the break on fire and trying to turn this rally into a lead change right now.
Olivia Shootin' out there on the line, and I believe that's Guypen she's going up against. Both these jammers right now trying to fight their way through. The pack is very messy and very out of control, but somehow they managed to keep those jammers locked down inside. Geipin almost out, trying to reach around. Now she's trying to fight through the inside, and tiptoeing around and out is Olivia Shooten-John. The recycling by this Denver team is phenomenal because they always manage to get a body back up in front of you.
Yeah, that was Davison on hell there to slow down the exit of Olivia Shooten-John, and it won't be enough, though, because around the outside and calling it long before Geipin is able to threaten for points. OSJ, that's the lead change. Texas is now in front, 110 to 107. Denver still blanked in this half.
Scald Eagle will be your next jammer in this jam. Nikki Tiki Time Bomb is going to be your jammer for Texas. Scald Eagle quickly bumps her out and says, we're going to take a little trip. We're going to skate the wrong way, and I like this. Scald Eagle's going to get a full head of steam and try and bust her way through like she always tries.
I'm a little surprised she didn't keep it going on that one. They had one in the box, and she could have possibly sprung her, and it works out in Texas' favor. That's Nikki Tiki Time Bomb getting one over on Scald Eagle right there. Well, Akers, what a clearing block right there.
Yeah,
Beautiful offense.
Peace War was up there ready for her, and Tracy Akers says, no, you're getting out of the way. Oh! Nikki Tiki Time Bomb took a wallop, stuck it in that corner, and did not go out of bounds to pick up those 4 points.
So now, almost 6 minutes deep into the second half, Denver still has unable to score. 114 for Texas, 107 for Denver. Definitely not how Denver wanted to come out of the blocks in the second half here after holding a lead on the number 4 team in the world.
Out there for Denver with the star on her helmet is Wilhelm. She jumps off that line with full intent, gets stopped by Jockey Daniels. Freight Train has barely gotten past. She's still trying to tiptoe up that inside line, and Denver's got her locked down. Wilhelm around the outside in turn number 1 is your lead jammer.
Wilhelm still leading score, 43 points, but again, 4 penalties. They cannot afford another penalty to Wilhelm, especially in the early going of this half. Goes around the outside, grand slam.
Freight Train in the back. She hands it off. That's going to go to Trauma. Trauma's still got it in her hand. Wilhelm, though, out front, already got her points in the air, and she's looking for more.
Wilhelm playing it safe there, but unfortunately, with a fallen skater there, I think it was Barrett asking for a penalty and not getting it.
Yep.
So Texas does pick off one, but Denver finally breaks the drought. Back on the board for the first time second half. New score, 115 to 112. A 3-point game. I am not bored.
We got a lead change. Unless the scoreboard is incorrect, my friend.
That happened in the last game, though.
My cohort is looking at me like I have just said something insane, but it looks like 115-113 is our current score. Olivia Shooten-John is on the line and trying to work her way past Braun Swanson on that pivot line. Klein is in the back, getting taken out of bounds and having to go way back to turn number 4. High block being called, and that is going to get Olivia Shooten-John out as your lead jammer.
Oh, Star drops to the ground right there. Recovered by Klein.
Olivia Shooten-John is back up. She does a nice little spin. I don't think she stepped out of bounds, but she's going to play it safe and crawl her way back and start again. Klein is up front. Oh, she found an opening on the inside, but it's been a long while getting out, and Olivia Shooten-John is on her scoring streak. She calls it off after picking up all 5 of her points.
$120 for Texas, $112 for Denver. Tracy Akers talking something over with our head referee, Duke Skellington, who answers calmly.
Well, I think Texas went into the halftime eating their Wheaties because they have come out with the intent of pulling this game back into their favor, which they have successfully done. Nikki Tiki Time Bomb is on the line going up against Geipin. Bo Geipin is squeezing out on that outside line past CC Bomb to be your lead jammer.
Geipin getting a little help from SH Long, pushing her out for her 4. And back to a 4-point game favoring Texas, 120-116. About 21 minutes left to play in this extremely close game.
Freight Train and Scald Eagle, they're going to be your next jammers in this next jam. Nobody's in the penalty box, so it's going to be a 4-on-4 in the blocking war. And a nice hit all the way across. Freight Train runs into that pack and is getting bounced around. She has knocked every player off or down, and she's your lead jammer.
And I went chest to chest with Akers, knocked her out of the way. Usually not how that interaction ends up when Akers is defending. And this time, again, blasting Garten to the ground, trying to get past Thorns.
Scald Eagle still stuck, and she has not gone past the pivot line. Peace War took her out of bounds. Scald Eagle jumped right back in, and she's out on her initial. 5 points, though, have been picked up by Freight Train. Freight Train comes in, got 2, called it off, and that is the kind of play I love seeing out of a jammer.
Both bench coaches walking up to the referees purposefully. They both have something to say. No review being called yet. Looks like they're just trying to ask for certain calls being made. Saw Richie not out there gesticulating intently.
Yep. They're letting them know what they want for Christmas way ahead of time. Jackie Daniels decided to jump back in there and play roller derby instead of continuing her conversation. Wilhelm on the line for Denver. Gets kicked out of bounds on the outside. And Olivia Shooten-John is your lead jammer, and she has come out on fire in the second half. Oh!
Wilhelm all caught up on the inside turn 1. Bodies flying everywhere. Now Jackie Daniels falls over her.
Olivia Shooten-John came in extremely hard, is still trying to fight her way through. They're dropping a bridge to try and hold it together. S.H. Long out front. Barrett getting called with a forearm. S.H. Long's your last line of defense.
Oh, she out of play.
Oh.
Tough break for Denver. She was about, I would say, 20 feet and an inch ahead and sent to the box and out of play.
Wilhelm's got that star in her hand. Leah takes off with the star, but that's not before Olivia Shooten-John comes out and picks up another 5 points, and then she go ahead and calls it off.
And now Denver in a dangerous situation now with 2 in the box and Texas on a run here, 137 to 117, a 20-point lead. I think maybe Texas' largest lead of the game so far. We have confirmation from a head nod. So, yes, Texas' largest lead of the game, 20 points, with 18:28 left on a stopped clock here. The clock has moved to 18:19 now, but we are in timeout right now for Denver. While I got a second here, let's give a shout out to our sponsors. Radar Wheels. The Big O is proudly sponsored by the Radar Halo. Pick up a set of Halos today and see what you've been missing. We also, and I also personally, even though it's on this paper, which is great, give a shout out to DJ Agent Meow, bringer of fun and incredible tunes to us for many tournaments over the last few years. Thank you, DJ Agent Meow, for being so meow.
Soundtrack to your roller derby life. Scald Eagle out there the line. Nikki Ticky Time Bomb out there with her. Scald Eagle goes around the outside almost in slow motion and backwards, and she is your lead jammer. And she's
that's on a 4-2 pack as well. So Denver, you see her playing defense right here. Denver trying to get a little bit of time off the clock and get their blockers back in action. Now Scald's going to stay on her, but they're both in the pack now. Has to take her interest to the blockers, and Texas takes over in front of that.
It's an unusual gamble, but both of them come out on the other side with 4 points.
Yeah, Denver didn't pick up any space on the scoreboard, but they did clear their box. So all in all, that jam working out to Denver's favor.
I also like seeing the defense by the jammers. It's a good heads-up play. She knew that she had to get those players out of the box. She decided to slow it down and try to play one-on-one.
Yep, well played heads-up jammer defense by Scald Eagle.
Klein playing about 10 feet behind Freight Train out there. Both of them have the stars on their helmets. This whistle comes on, and Freight Train goes to the outside. Now she's trying the middle, pressing everybody up. Man, she's got some power, making everybody move. Klein in the back is trying to fight her way through, and they're inching forward ever so slightly. Offense comes, and everybody gets the heck out of the way, and Klein is still stuck there. Gets pushed out of bounds on the inside line.
Denver in danger, running out of space here. But they're still there. Now Thorns is going to bridge the pack and make it a safer situation for those blockers in the front. Meanwhile, in the back of the pack, not much happening for Klein except getting hit by people wearing black and white.
Freight Train's finally made it to turn number 2, and they have really slowed her down at this point. They are locking her in, and she is just in the center of the track trying to push them forward, and they've really got this bridged out. Klein is in the back, and they are going to form a 4-wall all around her and not let her go anywhere. Finally, they send some offense. Texas has ran up that smarty pants. She's trying to move some bodies around, but once again, the power from both of these walls have just made this a jammer killer.
Yeah. There was some really heads-up play there by Thorns there, who she was in the middle stringing the pack up, and as soon as Texas offense came up to help, she immediately joined that pack, knew exactly where she had to be.
Klein does a nice little move, jumps to the outside, comes right back in, and Jackie Daniels will not be fooled by that. She instantly stops her. Klein is now trying the outside line, and they are not going anywhere with that either.
We're 90 seconds into this jam, still no lead jammer.
Yep, they haven't even gone a full rotation around the track. They are still in turn number 3. Freight Train gets kicked out of bounds by Tracy Akers, and Tracy Akers says, come on, come here.
Everybody
come back.
And after all this, it looks like this jam is going to be like it never happened as the crowd goes wild for what's about to be a 0-0 score. There it is.
For defense.
Everyone in this room hates jammers. The crowd showing their appreciation for that one. Still 141-121 favoring Texas. We are getting into the last quarter of this game. 15 minutes, 20 seconds left on the period clock.
Olivia Shooten-John on the line for Texas. Guypen on the line for Denver. The whistle has blown. Olivia Shooten-John jumps to the outside. Guypen jumps to the end. Both these jammers trying to fight their way through. Guypen now gets pushed out on the inside line. And Guypen breaks on through to the other side as your lead jammer.
Denver definitely needed that one right there after a tough row for the last few jams. Guypen goes right into the back of Pista War, but unable, or doesn't knock her out of position. No call, and a grand slam, Lindsay Guypen.
And there's a pile up in turn number 1. Olivia Shooten-John's got the cap in her hand and comes in and starts knocking people around. Guypen up front trying to tiptoe around the outside, and she is through once again, picking up 5 points. And you got to tell Texas, you didn't think it was going to be that easy, didn't you?
Denver back in penalty trouble now. S.H. Long is going to join Davidson in the box now, so 4-2 situation in favor of Texas. Guypen calls it, and I don't think that they wanted to do that right there. They definitely want to keep that one running and try and get some of their penalty time off the clock. So they will set up now with a 4-2 deficit on the pack.
Yeah, there's going to be an official review called down on the floor. I believe Texas is out there with the big O in the hand. Yes, that was a pun at the event we're at right now.
Looks like we got 13:57 on the stopped clock during the review.
8 points now separate these two teams. Texas is down just by a skosh. And for those of you at home, I don't think you might have noticed, Scald Eagle changed her makeup a little bit. I believe she's got some Denver colors out there. Braun Swanson, of course, changed absolutely nothing. She still has that brawny mustache.
I imagine, as I said, we haven't gotten the official word from the referees, but I believe that what you said was correct. They're probably Texas is probably looking for a back block on Guypen. If they were to get it, that would be a nightmare for Denver. That would leave them a power jam with 2 in the box. It did happen right in front of us. It looked like there was definitely impact to the back. It just didn't appear that Peace War, she didn't fall down, didn't leave her position. So that's probably what they're arguing about right now. But we'll have to wait and hear the official word.
Well, if everything stays the way it is, right now we've got Nikki Tiki Time Bomb, number 9 for Texas Rollergirls, out there on the line. And I don't know if you've heard me say it yet, but she has had a really good second half. She's got 20 points on the board right now. Scald Eagles out there for Denver, number 50, and she is sitting on 41.
While we got a moment here, let's give a shout out to Powerdyne. Powerdyne from Rydell Skates has changed the game again. Be sure to check out the newly redesigned Arius Platinum plate. Arius Platinum, performance redefined. The referees continue to talk over Texas's likely attempt to get a Jarrah penalty called on Denver.
Yeah, it's a pretty deep discussion they're having over there. Got to wonder what they really saw and what they were really mulling over to have it go on this long. The
track 1 over here in Eugene, Oregon's Big O is filling up at 8 p.m. Pacific today. The game after next will be a enormous clash. Victorian, the number 1 team ranked, or number. Let me try that again. Victorian, the number 1 ranked team in the WFTDA, taking on the back-to-back champions, the Rose City Rollers, who's one of their most recognizable players on the track right now, wearing Denver colors. But they have picked up one of Rotary's other most recognizable players, Bonnie Thunders from Gotham, now playing for Rose City. A lot to be interested in that match. Coming up again, 8 p.m. Pacific.
And if you guys remember back in the championships, that was a heartbreaker for Victoria, who was ahead going into that lead jam and ended up losing it by a few mere points at the very end. So we've seen that a number of times when these two teams meet. Victorian has really done a fantastic job over the years building their team and moving up the top 10 and staying there. They've kept their team together and they look fantastic.
So it looks like the coaches return to their bench from the signals that Richie Knott's making to Scald Eagle. I think they're going to be okay. Scald is not leaving the track. Fantastic. We weren't wrong. So it was the back block against Peace War was not called due to the fact that she did not lose position from it.
Well, it's a good thing we know what we're talking about here, you know?
Right?
A validation.
So Denver dodging a bullet there. They didn't want to lose a jammer in this 4-2 situation. They do have Akers, and I believe that's Braun Swanson out there.
Yep. Well, both these jammers come in, and Nikki Tiki Time Bomb almost bent over backwards. Akers right now has got a hold of her and not letting her go anywhere. Takes her to the inside line. Now it's Braun's turn. Scald Eagle on the in the middle of the track, trying to work her way through that Texas wall, and actually gave a little bump to Nikki Tiki Time Bomb. Scald Eagle now in the middle. She's got one player left to beat. CC Boom was not enough to stop her. Scald Eagle's the lead jammer.
Maybe a bang-bang play here with Nikki Tiki Time Bomb not too far behind Scald. Now it's going to be all about who's in the back of the pack. Right now it's mostly white in the back. Denver trying to take the front and give a space for Scald to get something. Forced out of bounds, and I picked up 1.
Yeah, 1 point. Hey, you know what? When you're only down by a couple points, 1 point is helpful.
I think all of Texas thought that they had gotten a 0 for Scald, and that looked a little dejected after that pass. But it's just 1 point. They still hold that lead, 141-134. But at this point, with this game so far, 1 point could very conceivably decide this later on.
Freight train out there once again for Texas. Wilhelm out there for Denver. Whistle is blown, and once again, Freight Train comes in with all the power that she possesses moves them up to the pivot line, and that's where they have locked her down. Wilhelm picking up a forearm penalty, and that is going to put her in the penalty box. Freight Train is out with a power jam.
Freight Train looking for Texas's first points in the last 3 jams. Looks likely to get it right here, and there it is.
Wow, she split them like a pair of French doors, and she did get taken out, luckily, by Barrett, at least luckily for Denver. But, she's already got those points on the board. Here comes the offense from Texas. They're going to try and squeeze everybody together and get their jammer free.
Miss Angel anchoring that triangle in the front, now helped out by Barrett. That's a real tough nut to crack right there for Freight Train, but she does get her on the inside of Davidson and got 5, and finally Texas is able to turn a power jam into something big.
Wilhelm does get kicked out of bounds. She does re-enter the track. Oh, my gosh, there's a pile up on top of her. And out on the outside line is Freight Train, who gets knocked out of bounds, and she is taken way back into turn number 4. Wilhelm up front. She's almost made it to the pivot line. She's got 2 blockers. Finally, she jumps around the outside, and she is free. Freight Train comes in, does a nice little smooth, picks up her 4 points, and calls off this jam. That's a nice little bit of breathing room there Texas acquired at the end of that due to that power jam.
105 to 134. Denver's still very much in it, but
Olivia Shootin' down on the line for Texas. Klein out there for Denver. Packs it 4-on-4, and it's real slow moving on the jammer line. Klein finds an open room on the inside. Oh, but she stepped out of bounds and is going to end up coming back. She is your lead jammer, though.
Yeah, it's definitely good news for Denver here, even if she can't get out of the pack first. Oh, boy, barely staying in bounds, exiting.
It was almost like a carbon copy of what we had just seen. Olivia Shootin' finally finds a way to get out, and she's about a quarter of the way back behind Klein. So at this point, yep, she skips out of bounds and calls off that jam, picks up 2 points. And that's going to make it a 14-point spread between these 2 teams with 10 minutes left.
Exactly. We saw or mentioned Wilhelm to the box in the jam previous to that one, now sitting on 5 penalties. They really, really can't afford to have their most effective jammer right now sitting on 6. You basically just can't jam somebody with six on them. It's asking for a tragedy.
Denver 1 person short out there. Nikki Tiki Time Bomb out there for Texas. Geipin for Denver. Nikki Tiki Time Bomb tries to take that inside of that, and they got her. On the outside, though, Geipin sneaks on by, and she's your lead jammer.
Geipin, the 3rd scoring jammer for Denver with 28 right now, trailing Scald Eagle and Wilhelm.
Oh, she was tiptoeing and almost doing like, oh, what a huge hit. But she went out of bounds, and Nikki Tiki Time Bomb is free to roam.
That was Davidson with a slightly too aggressive hit, unable to stay on her skates through it. And that's 4 for Geipin, and that makes it a 10-point game with 9:10 left on a ticking clock right now. Texas does not have an official review. Denver still holds theirs. Denver with both teams I should say now, with 2 timeouts left. So both teams with some options here on how they want to play this home stretch.
Scald Eagle is out on the line. Freight Train is joining her. Both of these jammers engage. One tries to go to the outside, one goes to the end. Scald Eagle is now trying to work the inside, takes a whip off the back, but tiptoes and bounces out. She's your lead jammer. Freight Train finds a hole through the middle, but she's got a half a track to make up as Scald Eagle is back around and engaging that pack. She steps out of bounds real quick, quickly calls it off. Scald Eagle picked up 2 points on that jam.
And all that action, Akers goes to the box as a blocker for Denver. Now she's on 5. So right as we are getting into crunch time of this game, both Wilhelm and Akers sitting on 5 can ill afford to give up one more penalty on either side. You can put in Akers with 6, but I don't think they're going to risk putting in Wilhelm if she picks up another penalty after this.
Wilhelm out there on the line. Olivia Shootin' is also out there. Olivia Shootin' does a nice little tiptoe step and does get picked up at the pivot line and stopped. I thought she was going to be free. She is not going to be taken down, and she is finally out as your lead jammer.
Davidson has to come back and let her go.
Wilhelm is still stuck in that pack. She is danced around. She's got the cap in her hand. Peace War is her last line. She does knock her out, and Peace War is going to take her back behind that pack. Oh, Wilhelm comes in.
Peace War. Okay, so the referee track cut was rescinded as she re-entered the track, but did yield in time. So we heard the whistle, but there was no track cut actually assessed. We had a penalty from 2016 coming back to us.
Olivia Shootin' is up front. There's 2 blockers out there. Barrett kicks her out of bounds. They're going to take her back to the top of the Apex Sound in front of us. Wilhelm looking very worn out. She's trying to get that helmet cover to Akers. Akers is trying to play a little bit of offense and trying to position herself. Peace War.
Holy cats. Peace War just owned Wilhelm in the whole jam. It's been incredibly impressive to watch. You know,
Wilhelm is going to have nightmares about Peace War tonight.
Obviously, you know, as we always say, like roller derby is clearly a team game, but every now and then there's one jam where a blocker's like, nope, I'm not letting what I don't want to happen occur.
You shall not pass.
Exactly. Peace War stopping Wilhelm 4 separate times solo on that jam. And that's going to be a Denver timeout with 1:55, 1:42 stop clock, 6 minutes and 38 seconds remaining.
We got a 13-point game, and this is a good timeout for Denver. Nice time to collect themselves with a shortness on the clock. As you know, in the game of roller derby, this is nowhere out of reach for them, especially when you got a complement of jammers like they do and the blockers. Both these teams, it's at this point a crapshoot. It's going to come down to when the clock runs out of time.
I'm going to note here, that was Texas' first lead jam in the last 9 jams. They're holding on to this lead. They have led since about the 25-minute mark of this half after Denver led for the majority of the first half. Denver trying to bring it back in the remaining 6:32 we have here to play. Sorry, 6:38 left to play.
And it looks like everybody's at the pivot line. Oh, no, they're faking me out and rolling back. Okay, all right. I thought it was weird. Nikki Tiki Time Bomb is in there. Klein is also in there. Nikki Tiki Time Bomb on that inside line trying to fight her way through, and it's going real slow like syrup in wintertime. Klein, I thought she was free, but she got a humongous hit knocking her out of bounds.
Akers also hitting the deck hard. Nikki Tiki Time Bomb, lead jammer, Texas.
Man, how she stayed in is beyond me, but it was a great move. Klein trying to move inside out, and she got a cut track. She is now headed to the penalty box.
That disaster for Denver right there. Couldn't ill produce a jammer there.
That was a great little hop to make those points up. 3 blockers out there for Denver. They're doing everything they can to separate. Braun Swanson gets kicked out of bounds, and they're going to drag her back, basically trying to make it easier for Nikki Tiki Time Bomb, who does jump the track one more time, almost like a replay of the last one, picking up those 5 points.
I thought Texas might try to freeze Klein in the box here, but apparently going to keep it running here and try and capitalize on the score. It's working out so far. Another pass for Nikki Tiki Time Bomb, 5, and a 15-0 run so far as Klein returns to play.
I think that timeout might have benefited Texas because Tiki Tiki Time Bomb is on fire right now. She is back in that pack and ready to score. Klein's got the helmet cover in her hand and is being dragged back between the pivot and jammer line. Nikki Tiki Time Bomb did get kicked out of bounds. She's having to start again.
Akers has received the star pass, is out, but Nikki Tiki Time Bomb says, like, I've done enough. I picked up 18 and calls it off. Texas 173, Denver 142 with under 5 minutes to play. Denver has got to get something going right now or they're not going to pull off this upset.
And just like that, it's 31 points. Out on the line, I do see Freight Train 202 for Texas Rollergirls. Scald Eagle 50 for Denver Roller Derby. Scald Eagle is pressing that inside line. Bodies are going all over the place. Nice little stop and shake. Scald Eagle is out first as your lead jammer.
What a beautiful matrix move right there from Scald Eagle to avoid the hit from Trauma.
Freight Train stuck in turn number 1. Defense is laying her down and stopping her. It looks like there was a star pass to Trauma. Trauma is trying to still get out of there. Akers, gets escorted to the ground.
Trauma's off to the box. This is big news for Denver now. Scald Eagle hops up the outside line and is knocked out of bounds by Stoner.
Yep. Yep, Stoner definitely needed to do that, and that's a long ways back for Scald Eagle to have to start again. She's going to get some momentum. Oh, I don't know how she stayed in bounds. Yes, I do. I see it. She grabbed someone's shirt to stay in bounds.
And gets through again. Denver's going to run it here as Trauma stuck in the box, coming out as a pivot turn to jammer.
The shirt whip is underrated, by the way.
Right. Scald Eagle with a big opportunity here to get Denver right back in the game after they were in danger.
Scald Eagle, one player left to beat, but that is Peace War, and Peace War and Freight Train escort her out of bounds.
Yeah, that was a great help from Freight Train, just basically pushed Peace War right into her.
This is where you need to go, right out there.
So Denver was on the precipice right there. Scald Eagle brought them back, but they've still got a ways to go. 173, 155, 3 minutes and 2 seconds left.
Well, that was a nice follow-up to that last jam where Texas, rolled off a whole ton of points. 13 points put up there. That's going to make an 18-point difference now between these two teams.
We are in official review for Denver right now. We got a moment here to give a couple more shout-outs here. Let's see what we got here. The Big O is brought to you in part by Rydell and the all-new Solaris, the performance you demand, the comfort you've been missing. Also going to give a shout-out to Cassie Brewing, a proud sponsor of Emerald City Roller Derby and the Big O tournament. And especially thank you to all our photographers for contributing their time and talent to shoot their Big O. Special shout-out to Steve Sharkey Mancini, organizing this talented crew for us.
Well, right now, Scald Eagle is sitting at 57 points. Guypen sitting at 32. Wilhelm at 49 for Denver Roller Derby. Out there for Texas, Olivia Shootin' having 43 points on the board for her. Freight Train, 39. And Smarty Pants with 37. Not to forget, Nikki Tiki Time Bomb with 38.
Yeah, she's really been a big help for Texas recently. Of course, over the course of the offseason, I should say, Texas losing Bloody Mary and Fifi Namnan. Bloody Mary retired after a very long and fruitful WFTDA career, played in every single WFTDA championships from the start. So that was pretty impressive. Fifi Namnan was off Texas at the beginning of last year, came back near the end of the season, the postseason, was very effective there, so we don't know if she's done for good. But either way, though, Nikki Tiki Time Bomb stepping up into that important jammer role that they needed to fill after those two departures.
It's always interesting to see the staff changes that happen every year, especially with the people moving around. It was, I got to say, a little surprising, a little exciting to have someone like Bonnie Thunders come into Rose City. It was a little upsetting and sad to see Scald Eagle go away. Very happy for her. Very supportive of her move, her and Braun Swanson making that move. But yeah, when you see a lot of those type of those moves happen, it's always interesting to see how everything plays out afterwards. See how everybody meshes and merges afterwards.
Okay, so Denver trying to get the cut overturned, does not happen, and now Denver has no official review.
Well, at this next jam with just over 3 minutes left, Guypen is going to be out there for Denver with a star on her helmet. Olivia Shootin' once again out there for Texas. And both these jammers engage the back of that pack. Olivia Shootin' trying to take that inside line. She got bounced around a little bit, and now she's pushed all the way from one side to the other. Guypen is in the middle of the track, and she's got basically 10 players, 11 players in front of her, and finally gets pushed out of bounds out in the inside.
Critically important jam right here. Denver desperately needs lead jammer if they're going to make up this gap in the remaining time. We have only 2 minutes and 30 seconds remaining.
Yeah, they definitely got to put some points on the board. And with that, Guypen trying to get around the outside. Oh, no, she did step out of bounds. She is not happy about it. But as that also happens, Olivia Shootin' is out as your lead jammer.
And that might be the door closing on Denver right now. And Olivia Shooten-John threw for a surprisingly easy 5 right there.
Well, Texas executed some awesome offense. They opened up that inside and made it easy. Well, that time they were not going to be taken so easy. That was number 4 for Denver, Leah Davidson, who just basically took and filled the hole to get that jammer out of bounds.
Smart call off here by Texas. They're going to freeze Guyper in the box here, try and get that last lead jammer status and run out the clock most likely here.
Timeout being called by Denver. They got to manage that clock right now. They've got 1 minute and 38 seconds. And at this point, we've got 183, 155.
So the Denver's really only chance here is to stuff the next Texas jammer long enough for Guypen to get lead out of the box. Even then, they might have some trouble here because Guypen is still sitting. They may not have enough time to make up the remainder of time because Denver, having called their final timeout, they won't be able to add an extra jam after that most likely. So we'll have to wait and see. But it looks like Texas is going to hang on in what has been a very tightly contested match between the number 4 and 7 ranked teams in the nation. Very likely a preview of late postseason action, either at playoffs or at champs. It's like November and May. Okay, Guyping is standing though, so I apologize. So she does have fewer than 10 seconds on her penalty there. So that is slightly good news for Denver.
Yep, everybody's up at the pivot line, and this jam is on. That is number 9 for Texas, Nikki Tiki Time Bomb, and she's your lead jammer.
I imagine Texas will probably run this one out. 1:20 left on the clock, so they could finish the game on this jam. Let's see what Nikki does with it.
Leah comes around the outside. She gets tagged a couple times, and finally one of them Texas blockers knocks her out in turn number 3. Nikki Tiki Time Bomb is stuck in turn number 3. She's just basically looking over her shoulder. Peace War comes in, tries to rock some people open. Leah Davidson, my goodness.
Davidson is like baseball slid through the air onto the ground, landing right on her hip.
I think that was from trauma, and now I know why they call her that.
Davidson, a home team jammer over Denver, rarely seen with a star for the Denver All-Star team. We got 40 seconds left on the clock for Texas, and it does look like they are, in fact, going to run this one out.
Nikki Tiki Time Bomb right over there at the top of the key between 3 and 4, and still trying to fight her way through. Peace War up, gives her a little whip, and there's a nice big hit. I believe that came from
number 3,
Angel?
Angel.
Yeah, Angel.
Can't quite cut her off that time, though. She's through for another 5. Nikki Tiki Time Bomb's going to bring it home for Texas. We only have 10 seconds remaining on the clock, with the Texas fans in the audience starting to get a little vocal, as this will likely be the last pass of the game.
Nikki Tiki Time Bomb comes in. I believe she's just going to calm down, call off that jam, and we have an unofficial score of 195-162. I know the refs are probably going to go to the center of the track and discuss it for a few minutes to make sure everything looks good. But I don't think it's fairly safe to say right here, Texas managed to pull this off with some fantastic play at the end of the game to push that lead up and capitalize on the penalties that they were given.
Yeah, absolutely. A close game all the way through, really. 3 lead changes in the first half, but the last lead change came with 25 minutes remaining. Texas taken over for good at 110-107. And although Denver stayed kind of neck and neck with them for a long time, in the end, Texas pulled away. And it is now an official final, 195-162. The 4th-ranked Texecutioners hang on to defeat Denver Roller Derby.
And it is now official. That is the final score, 195-162. Everything has been tallied, and Texas has pulled off this win. Well, everybody at home, I am the King. I'm right here with Justice Marshall, and this has been Texas Roller Girls taking on Denver Roller Derby.
Hey there, I am Ophelia Mellons with the Big O Afterglow. I am joined by some new skaters for Denver Roller Derby. Would you mind introducing yourselves to our audience, please?
Braun Swanson.
Scald Eagle.
All right, welcome. Tell us about your new face paint, your new truck paint job. How's it going over there?
Well, I think that I did that because, firstly, I really think a lot of people didn't believe that I actually painted my truck purple, so A, of all, I had to prove that. And then B, of all, I was getting some pretty weird stares about driving up in my purple rig.
Yep.
So I decided to give it a facelift right before the weekend started.
Well, right on. We miss you up in Portland, but
I miss Portland, too.
I'm so happy you found a home in Denver. You've already had 2 games with Denver under your belt previous to the Big O. That's right, Philly and Gotham.
Yep.
How's that adjustment going? How do you love your new family?
That transfer life is so real. I think it's, being with Rose City from our birth, like fledging from the nest of Rose City, has its, opportunities, and I think that it's been a major growing process for both Braun and I in our athletic careers to be the new kids. So
Especially at this level.
Yeah.
Right.
Grew up playing sports, but I've never transferred or done something
Or even moved schools, like all that jazz.
at this level. And it was definitely felt daunting, but Denver's been super accommodating.
Welcoming.
Do
We're having
you
so much fun.
remember that time that you got MVP of the 2016 WFTDA
That
World
old
Championships?
chestnut.
I mean, that's
Go on.
that's pressure, right? Like you're Scald Eagle's little sister.
Who's that?
MVP
Never heard of her.
of championships last year, and you guys both bring so much to Denver's team. You came up short this game, but it's so early in the year, and you guys, you got that hashtag. What is it?
Mile Hydra.
Mile Hydra. Brilliant.
I wish I could say I came up with that, but the minute I heard it, I was like, that's
Oh
the
my
one.
God, it was awesome.
It's so good.
Excellent. Moving on, what are you looking forward to this weekend? Is it homecoming for you? What's special
Oh,
about
of
this
course.
weekend for you?
I love seeing all my favorite faces, not just from Rose, but everybody around the entire world actually at this point. So it's been really fun to reconnect. I love that about the Big O and big tournaments like this. For us on this new team, I think it's more about just finding our sea legs, truly, round peg, square hole factor for us right now, as far as like trying to find our groove. And there's only so much you can accomplish in 1 or 2 months of skating with a brand new team.
Sure.
We're learning them, they're learning us, and then on top of that, innovating from there. So I think this weekend and the past 2 games that we have will be an excellent baseline for us to build from. And I'm really, really excited to have a melding of the minds.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
for
great
me,
experience, yeah.
this weekend so we've had a lot of family stuff going on,
Yeah.
and by Denver being really accommodating, they've been working with us in our kind of bizarre schedule. And so for me, this weekend is mostly about having fun. Having fun, finding our vibe, and hanging out, and kind of taking a break from some of our more serious family stuff we got going on.
I'm sure it's a great outlet. You guys get to play Rose City. You guys get to play Angel City.
No, I mean, those are big games.
Excited.
I'm so yeah.
Well, they're excited. That's good. Question.
Keep clogging up.
What is your favorite game meat? They're hunters.
All right. So on game day, I'll often buy a bag of jerky. I like jerky because it's...
No. I mean, like when you go hunting, what's the best tasting meat that you kill and
there's
eat?
the animal that then has the meat, and then there's like multiple steaks to be had from the animal. So are you talking backstrap, tenderloin? I mean,
I love meat. You gotta be more specific than just meat. Like,
Antelope?
okay.
Tell us about your game day jerky.
Game day jerky. Well, if I really had my
trapper.
choice, well, that's jerky we buy. If it was something that I hunted, good old-fashioned elk jerky. That's some good stuff right there. I almost cursed, but I stopped myself. It's good.
Nah, that's good. Okay. I once asked you, I believe at playoffs, who your Derby Idols mentors were, and you told me 2 names. You said Steph Maney, and you said Braun Swanson.
Yeah.
What I want to know is, who inspires you here at Denver?
In Denver? Oh, I mean, every single one of them. Do I have to choose a single person?
Nah, I guess not.
Okay. Let me think about that for a second.
I mean, as a jammer, I know it could be different. Do you feel connected to a team of a group of blockers yet? I mean, it's so early.
I don't know. I don't know that I have one specific person that I'm like, oh my God. It's like when people just do particular things, I'm like, I want to know how they do that.
Yeah.
And I'm on the spot right now. I can't think of anyone. Sorry.
That's all right. Last question. Do you have any predictions for the Victorian Rose game happening tonight at 8 o'clock? All right. So
I'll tell you, I'm excited for it.
I can't wait to watch. It's like, there's lots of reasons
There's
to watch
so
that
many
game.
reasons.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's going to be hard to. I'm going to be cheering for people on both teams.
Oh,
Yeah, 100%.
Cheer for a good derby,
Cheer
right?
for fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, well, I'm going to wrap it up with the Buskovic sisters over here. Thank you.
Buskovic.
Kill the
Amber.
Reaper, slaughter Vic.
All right. Thank you so much for joining me. Congratulations on a successful transition to a new team. We expect great things. So thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back later with another interview and a wrap-up this evening. So stay tuned. There's lots more action today.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.